Look then at the importance of the Strait of Hormuz. Well, at its narrowest point, the strait is about 33 kilometres wide, but its shipping lanes are even narrower. Iran controls the north side of the strait, while Oman controls the south. An estimated 20% of the world's oil is transported through the waterway. Some of it goes to Europe. Nearly half of China's crude imports transit through the Strait of Hormuz. Qatar also depends heavily on the strait to export its liquefied natural gas. Around 90% of the LNG that passes through the strait heads to Asia, including China. In Europe, countries including France, Germany and Italy source roughly 10% of their oil imports through the strait, a critical maritime choke point. And closing it could potentially remove more than 17 billion barrels of oil from the global market, driving up prices and straining energy supplies. Let's bring in Brent Sadler. He's a former Pentagon official and retired Navy captain. He joins us live from Washington. Brent, good to have you with us. So President Trump has been calling for help from allies to secure the Strait of Hormuz. Many countries don't want to get involved in what they see as a war they didn't even start. So how problematic is this now for Trump, and what are his options?
Yeah, I think it's better to probably characterize the request or the opening for other countries to open the straits as to act on their best interests, especially China, Japan, and South Korea, which do, and I would also add India in that, which are the majority of the oil that's going through the Straits of Hormuz. But I think there's quite a few options for the president as these allies and partners, and perhaps even rivals, when we talk about China, weigh their options to protect their own energy security in the Straits. One is to attack the Iranian sites on the coast where these attacks would be launched from, and to continue pressing the offense against the Navy and the IRGC smaller boats that would launch mines as well as do hit and run tactics, and the unmanned vessels that they also employ laden with explosives like we saw last week that put 3 ships alight.
Yeah, and there's now this contingent of U.S. Marines heading towards Iran. Is this an acknowledgement, Brent, by U.S. planners that air power alone can't protect commercial shipping? And how risky is this to be deploying boots on the ground, do you think?
Well, I'm not sure this means boots on the ground. Those Marines and their final destination is still a guarded secret. But one of the options that have been trained and planned for is to escort the ships as they go through the Straits of Hormuz by air patrol. This is a new change from what people may be familiar of the 80s Operation Praying Mantis that saw the U.S. escort Kuwaiti tankers that were reflagged to the U.S. That was small in number and certainly a very different type of world economy at the time. But the Marines could also be boarding these ships and providing physical protection against these small unmanned vessels and the smaller vessels the IRGC might use to attack these very large oil tankers.
Yeah, and Iran's move to choke off the Strait of Hormuz, as we know, has rattled global energy markets and driven up the price of gas everywhere. What do you make then, Brent, of the Iranian strategy here? Because they're responding militarily to the US and Israel, but that's coupled with an economic pressure point on oil supply. And this is proving to be a major problem for Trump, isn't it?
Well, I'm not sure it's as significant as a problem it may appear. One is it's not slowing down the political support the president has yet, and it certainly hasn't impacted the military operations that are being executed now. It does have more of an impact on key allies like Japan and South Korea, but so far the impact there has been more of them to rally and to perhaps even send forces to help escort their own shipments out of the straits.
Just a final thought to you. I mean, we've seen major US airstrikes on the big Iranian oil facility on Karg Island, and Trump's been threatening to do more damage there. But of course, with the US Marines about to be deployed, is this opening the door perhaps to a wider escalation and yet another forever war for the US?
Well, I think crossing into that domain of a forever war, it's better to define it as if we start to engage in trying to build a new nation inside Iran. And that's the nation building that Americans do not want to support. And quite frankly, the most popular support is to provide an opportunity for the Iranian people to take back their country. So there is no preparation that I see of anything of the sort. 2,500 Marines is not that type of indication or posture. If it is intended to control or to have access to Karg Island as a way of leverage, possible but unnecessary. I think more likely the Marines are adding uncertainty in Tehran, but could very likely provide options of putting armed guards with the ability to take out these small boats and small drones that do attack the tankers as they pass the Straits of Hormuz. The Marines are very ready for that.
Brent Sadler, former Pentagon official, many thanks for your time. Thank you.